Hey fellas, French Fry Warriors here to go over Records of Ragnarok, Chapter 89. Before we go into that though, let's do a quick recap of the previous chapter. Chapter 88 opens with a captivating world building about the primordial gods. They were the progenitors of everything in the universe and ruled all over the cosmos. However, their immense power proved to be too great and they self-destructed, returning to the chaos of the beginning. Returning to the confrontation between Odin, Buddha, and Beelzebub scenario, Odin's birds dismiss the existence of the primordial gods as mere myths. Beelzebub backs his claim by requoting something shocking he found in a forbidden book long ago detailing the resurrection of a primordial god in Helheim. This fact proves that they did exist, and it also states, at the moment the water of life is absorbed by the world tree, and Odin offers his body with both his eyes, the world will return once more to its origins. Beelzebub is curious to know if that's Odin's desire that he mentioned earlier. Odin simply bursts out laughing, states his titles, and gets ready to engage on the two. However, Thor's intervention halts Odin in his tracks. Odin tells Thor to back off, and Buddha wants to know if Thor came to assist his father. Thor declares his neutral stance, but announces that he will not forgive anyone who tarnishes the pride and glory of those fighters that participate in Ragnarok. All grudges along with life and death should only happen in the arena while Ragnarok is in session. Buddha readily agrees to Thor's principles, and after initial hesitation, Odin reluctantly agrees as well. Beelzebub, however, doesn't agree with the talk no jutsu and rushes towards Odin. Luckily though, Adamas and Kintoki enter the scene. Beelzebub tells Adamas to fuck off. However, Adamas is able to stop Beelzebub by uttering some wise words Beelzebub once said about Hades. This de-escalates the situation, and Kintoki begins walking towards Buddha when, while passing Odin, they have a small stare-off and continue going. Kintoki wonders why he looks so upset, and Buddha elaborates that it's because he let Odin in on Kintoki's journey to Tartarus. Speaking of Tartarus, Kintoki lets us know his breakout attempt was unsuccessful due to the toughness of the guards. This doesn't deter Buddha, however, and he's even more determined to meet Siegfried. Before leaving the scene, Beelzebub inquires about if Hades hates him for Zero's death. Buddha disregards that assumption and lets Beelzebub know that if he went down that vengeful path, then he would be betraying Zero's promise to walk the path of light. Beelzebub accepts this, but reminds Buddha that he's welcome to try and take his life anytime. As the scene shifts to the ongoing battle between Okita and Susanoo, the two warriors continue to exchange blows, with Susanoo demonstrating a slight advantage in power and scratches Okita. Okita only manages to land a blow on his armor, and Anubis revels in the spectacle of their deadly combat, while Sasaki and the others marvel at Susanoo's versatile technique. Okita is still having a blast despite the danger that Susanoo poses, and to counter this, Okita adopts a formless stance, unleashing a flurry of unique movements that catch Susanoo off guard. With this decisive strike, Okita delivers a devastating blow. Will this new formless strategy be enough against Susanoo's Shinra Yaoyorozu, or does Susanoo have more cards up his sleeve to easily counter Okita's new stance? Next, with this month's chapter, we pick back up after Okita finally slashes Susanoo and leaves a devastating mark across Susanoo's chest, bringing him to his knees for the first time during the battle. Okita stands proud after his strike. Meanwhile, his teammates cheer on his accomplishment. Sasaki's old rival provides insight into Okita's technique, describing it as exuding a deadly aura devoid of killer intent, making his strikes all the more lethal. Gaul is equally impressed, though Brunhilde warns against premature celebration since Susanoo himself knows the power and greatness of humanity. The narrative then shifts to a flashback about Susanoo's past, revealing how Susanoo is the founder of the sword, but not the founder of swordsmanship. Throughout Japanese mythology, Susanoo is the highest noble god, revered as the strongest god slayer that cut down all evil gods and spirits with a single slash from his sword. His soul remained in a state of tranquility until one day his creator, Izanagi, sent him to Earth to destroy the monsters and rule over the Earth. His older brother was sent to rule the ocean, and his older sister to rule over the heavens. The humans worshipped Susanoo as he saved villagers from creatures with his blade. One day, Susanoo runs across a village where he sees this troll-like monster threaten this boy and his little sister. The big brother stands strong and vows to protect his sister despite the look of overwhelming difference in power. Susanoo admires the boy's courage and was going to intervene in the fight until both him and, to the troll's surprise, the brother manages to not only block and redirect the attack, but also counter and knock out the troll too. Susanoo was baffled, but what he just witnessed was principles for swordsmanship in humans. He questions the brother on the technique he just performed. The brother explains how his village came up with various methods to use a sword effectively with daily training. Ironically, he mentions how they have a mural of a god, Susanoo, and the boy wishes to be like him one day. However, he obviously doesn't recognize that he's talking to Susanoo. Susanoo being absolutely touched by weaker beings respecting the sword more by creating the art of slaying stronger opponents, while God simply saw the sword as nothing but a tool. Amazed at the art of swordsmanship by humans, Susanoo bows to the humans and states they're amazing and begs to be taught swordsmanship by them, making him the first god to seek guidance from humans. He immediately brings this idea up to his sister Amaterasu and his brother Tsukiyomi, and his decision is met with scorn and disbelief from his siblings, who view his actions as disgraceful and foolish. Susanoo is well aware that such an act is disgraceful amongst the gods and offers to relinquish his noble god title. Amaterasu is curious of why Susanoo is obsessed with this swordsmanship thing, and Susanoo reveals that their swordsmanship was different because only those that lack power and adoration of people could truly appreciate swordsmanship through hard work and refinement. Susanoo sees this opportunity as endless excitement, having his heart boil. Tsukiyomi doesn't understand him, but Amaterasu allows him to do what he wants. The only con is performing such a shameful act for a god. He is never allowed to set foot ever in the Takamagahara realm, sentencing him to eternal exile. Lastly, Susanoo can't receive direct training from humans or expose himself to them. Only learning is permitted. Susanoo embraces his newfound passion, accepting eternal exile from the divine realm in exchange for the opportunity to learn from humans. He thanks his sister Amaterasu before departing forever. For centuries, Susanoo shapeshift into a crow and observe humanity building upon swordsmanship all over the world from afar. During that time, he studied and trained the principles, mimicking their styles and techniques through a divine mirror in secret. Susanoo once again admires the Bakumatsu period, where swordsmanship was at its peak, never imagining that he would one day face Okita, the strongest manslayer, to the death either, and that's why he would like to thank Okita and wants to make his blood boil similar to him, causing this month's chapter to come to a close. Well, I can say one thing for sure, and it's Susanoo is definitely the bro. Like, he is the #1 most respectable god in the whole series, more than Hades to me at this point. As I said, he was the first god to ever seek guidance from humans. He was so inspired and amazed by humanity's potential that he straight up just relinquished his noble status as a god, couldn't communicate with humans, and could only watch from a distance, while still being in exile from his own realm. Yet, watching through a mirror and training made him happy and satisfied, or as he would say, kept his heart boiling. How could I not respect that, my dude? This act makes me place Susanoo as my favorite god ever. I'm still Team Okita, but Susanoo is a great god. Also, is it just me, or does Okita look like he has some baby face in this panel? Anyway, I guess the explanation of Okita's formless stance somewhat makes sense, but I wonder if this was a translation issue that makes it confusing. We got 2 new character introductions, Tsukiyomi and Amaterasu, whose design I really enjoy. A little bummed that we didn't get to see the creator Izanagi's design, but it is what it is. Now, this is a nitpick. I get that this is a non-fiction fantasy, but the fact that this normal human was able to block this show's attack and counter knock him unconscious in one hit is insane to me. He should be one of the Ragnarok fighters too, honestly. Lastly, this panel where he's training with Okita in the mirror makes me believe that he already knows Okita's styles and moves since he's been imitating his style for years, which would explain why he was able to dodge Okita's blow and block his 3 thrust attack as well, especially like the reaction time he had, until Okita tapped into his formless stance, which could be a stance that no one's ever seen, cause from the sound of it, he never really got to go all out, since if you think about it, he died from an illness. So similar to Raiden from round 5, who died and he wasn't able to go all out because no one could take his muscles. Okita might have never also not gotten the opportunity to go full power or gotten serious, and Susanoo might be the one to push him there. But still, Susanoo training with that mirror for years on end with Okita must give him a crazy advantage. Told you, this dude is literally the god version of Sasuke. However, if Okita can pull out a few new effective techniques, then he may still have a chance. Also, we got another menacing face provided to us in the very last page, none other than Susanoo. My man looked like he's really out for blood. Well, as I said earlier, Susanoo has my full respect for him as an opponent. This chapter was pretty good for a backstory. Can't wait to see what next month brings us. Glad to see our boy Okita getting a lick. And that's all I have for today. Stay safe out there. See ya.